Hi, I'm Andrew Scular, and in this segment of Skincare TV, I want to talk to you about pigmentation in the skin. This is sometimes called brown spots, sometimes it's called sunspots or age spots. Basically, it's an overpigmentation or what we call hyperpigmentation of the skin that causes this. The pigmentation is all formed in the melanocyte. The melanocyte is the cell that produces melanin, which is a technical term for the pigment. Those melanocytes are in the bottom part of the epidermal layer of the skin. This is the epidermal layer of your skin in this cross section. This is the dermal layer. So in the bottom part here, you have these little cells that produce color, that give your skin color. Now what happens is that if there are certain signals that they receive, for instance, UV rays from the sun, which affect us every single day of our lives, have started damaging some of the DNA in your cells, the melanocytes will start producing melanin, the color. And what they do is they send up these fingers of color and they cover the nucleus of every single cell. And in the nucleus of every single cell is your DNA. So this is a good thing. You want them to protect your DNA. Now, typically what happens when you have a signal coming from the sun in terms of the amount of damage that is happening in your skin, all the melanocytes that are exposed in those areas will start producing melanin, and that's how you get a tan. A tan is a result of damage already having been done, and your melanocytes are trying to protect you from further damage. When the UVA and UVB rays from the sun stop, meaning you stop tanning, you stop being out in the sun, your tan fades. So it's a case of they turn on when there's a signal and then they turn off. However, if a lot of the sun tanning that you do, whether it be outside in the sun or on a tanning bed, which is even worse for you, you will start getting damage to the DNA of the melanocyte, the little cell that produces the color. And if at first you start seeing that there's some damage, there may be one gene on the melanocyte DNA that gets damaged. If your body doesn't correct that damage quickly, it may be replicated into the next version of that melanocyte, and so the next one still has that damage. But further UV rays from the sun will damage another one. If that doesn't get corrected, it then replicates with both of those problems on the genes, and there may be then a third one, and so it carries on. And this is what causes the melanocyte to basically be not functioning properly. And you can get that situation where it then starts overproducing melanin, the pigment in your skin, just in a particular area. Now, quite a few melanocytes could be damaged simultaneously, and that's where you get brown spots that appear on the skin. So this is something that we really need to take note of. UV rays from the sun will damage your DNA in your melanocytes. The other aspect of discoloration in the skin can be because of an acne blemish. And basically an acne blemish, there's always inflammation because the immune system is attacking the bacteria that is sitting there in the pore. So if you have inflammation, your skin will naturally produce more color to cover the inflamed tissue, because inflamed tissue can be more easily damaged by the sun than non-inflamed tissue. So that's why when the blemish goes down or the pimple goes down, you still have a dark spot around that. Typically, these kinds of situations get corrected when we're younger, but as we get older, they appear longer and longer. Now, what can we do about these pigmented areas? Well, we can definitely exfoliate, and exfoliation means using something like an alpha hydroxy acid by way of glycolic acid, or a beta hydroxy acid by way of a salicylic acid. Depending on the type of skin that you have, these acids are slightly more acidic than your skin, but don't forget your skin is already acidic, so don't get freaked out by the term acid. It's okay. If you use an appropriate acid, it will start exfoliating the upper layer of the skin and start reducing that darker pigmentation, and your skin will start lightening. It may not take away the pigmentation completely, but you'll have it lightened and you'll have more of an even skin tone. For more information about exfoliation, have a look at the Skincare TV video on exfoliation. The other thing that we can do is use chemical peels, something like a Jesner or TCA, which will then kill off the upper layer of the skin and cause it to flake off. When it flakes off, it may look darker initially, but then it flakes off and you get lighter skin underneath. You may need to have a couple of treatments of that if you have severe sun damage. Laser treatments at medical offices do the same thing, where they kill off the upper layer, cause it to peel off, you lighten the skin that way, and likewise you may need to do multiple treatments in order to start getting more of an even skin tone. Then you can also use skincare ingredients that can start lightening and reducing the amount of melanin. Those can be things like kojic acid, which comes from rice. You can use uva ursi, which comes from bearberry. You can use glycera glabra, which comes from licorice. There's other things like sodium ascorbate phosphate, which comes from vitamin C, imblica, which comes from Indian gooseberry, and there's other things like peptides and brown seaweed extracts, which can help. The number one ingredient is hydroquinone, which is the only one recognized by the FDA. However, hydroquinone is very irritating on the skin and can cause a lot of flaking and dryness, and often is not very easy to accommodate on most skins. Medical treatments will include strong forms of vitamin A. That could be something like a tretinoin, tazarotene, or adapalene. These can be combined with hydroquinone or with glycolics, and basically they can be very, very irritating and sensitize the skin, even though they're very effective. So you may have a skin that may not be able to accommodate that. But the most important thing for pigmentation is wear a sunscreen every single day, and it should be a mineral-based sunscreen. Okay, for more information about minerals-based sunscreens, have a look at the Skincare TV video on sunscreens, the critical facts, and also sunscreen myths. The other signal that the skin gets to produce color is hormones. And for a lot of women, they'll find this when they're pregnant. It's often called the mask of pregnancy or mother's mask. It usually appears on the face in its darker areas. The birth control pill sometimes alleviates that, sometimes it causes it. This is a condition called melasma, also called cloasma. Hormone replacement therapy will also stimulate this and cause the melanocytes to produce more color. Now, this could be genetic inheritance, it could be something from a thyroid disease, it could be through stress, but very often is found in people, women who are in high exposure, sun intense areas. Now, the treatments for these will be also, most important, reduce the potential for it to get darker by wearing a mineral-based sunscreen. And once again, have a look at the sunscreen video for that. You'll also want to exfoliate it using an alpha hydroxy acid, start reducing the amount of color that is on the skin. You can also use medical treatments, which is the vitamin A products, as well as hydroquinone. Some dermatologists will recommend laser, but most tests that I've seen say that laser does not work on melasma. The only people who think it does work is the companies that manufacture the lasers. Now, age spots are something else which happens naturally when you age. Basically, cells in your body, when they die off, they're supposed to get consumed by lysosomes, which are enzymes. If that doesn't happen properly and there's some residue left behind, that residue is called lipofuscin, or called cellular sludge, and it oxidizes to a yellowy brown color. So that's why you start getting those brown stains on your skin that don't go away. It doesn't matter what you use on them, they don't go away. So this is very difficult to deal with, and basically it only really can have certain types of laser treatments that will try and burn it all away. Otherwise, there are some ingredients that can help with that, things like skin lightening ingredients. What happens with a lot of the brown spots is that they can turn into cancers. Now, for instance, this brown spot that has been on my cheek for quite some time, it was fine. I had it lasered off twice. I had it removed with liquid nitrogen. It came back. I thought, well, then it's just an age spot. It has actually turned mutant now, and it is now a melanoma. I have to have it cut out and have this big scar on my face because of damage that was done to that DNA of that cell. So it's very important to always take note of anything that is darkening on your skin, getting larger. 75% of all deaths from skin cancers are related to melanomas. The other kinds of skin cancers are carcinomas. They generally are basal cell or squamous cell carcinomas. They form as little bumps or lumps on your skin, not as life-threatening as melanoma, but should be taken care of. They can be flesh-colored, they can be pink, they can be slightly brown. Most of them will appear where their skin has been sun exposed. So sun exposure is important for all kinds of cancers. The other important thing about sun is that it down-regulates your immune system in your skin, which means your immune system does not find these cancers, and your immune system is supposed to kill off these cancers. So being in the sun is dangerous for your immune system, which means that you have more potential for skin cancers. Now, this is the only skin you're ever going to own. Please take care of it, and please wear a sunscreen every single day. Thank you very much.